Feels like it's been a long time since I've been in here. Where's the live goal? Let's see. Oh, let's pin that one. Do we want to pin? Does that look weird on the screen? I don't know. Welcome. What's up, Crystal? Thank you for coming in. All right, let's pin. No, we're not gonna pin no one. Yes. Wow. What's up, Z? All right. My guy, you made it. Do not go anywhere. Do not fall asleep. I'm going to bring you up soon. Okay? Let me just fix. I don't want to. Unbuttoned is all about being unbuttoned, but I can't show y'all too much. Hold on. Let me get my setup straight. What's up, Ren? Thank you for coming through. Z, say something. I'm going to ask you to say something again later when I'm ready to bring you up. Hi, come on in. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate y'all. Did I miss? Hold on, I missed somebody. Erica, thank you for coming in. Thank you for setting the reminder to be here. I appreciate you. What's up, my friend? What's up, La? All right, come on in, y'all. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We have a lot to talk about tonight. What's up, Anomaly? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being on time. Because sometimes you're a little shaky, but I appreciate you being out. She's not shaky. She's a great supporter of the show. What's up, Scorpio Path? Scorpios, y'all have done me wrong. But anyway, all love. Welcome back, guys. It's been a while since I've been in here, I feel like. No, don't leave. She's always about to leave. She's always about to block somebody. Just be nice. You won't? Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Because, y'all someone told me recently, they sent me an article. No, they told me about an article they read about Scorpio women that I should stay away from. Scorpio women, Capricorn women, and Aries women. Yeah. Okay. All right. I've told you this twice. Apparently I talk about it a lot. But anyway, I'm a Leo. How you feel about that? I don't do Aries either. Hey, I don't think I've ever actually dated an Aries. I have. Thank you for the gifts. That's something I don't do often enough. I don't say, hey, can you guys take advantage of the daily live goal over here? I don't talk about it enough, so that's the whole thing. I like Leos, just haven't had the pleasure of dating a Leo. Okay, I think we're great. I think we're absolutely amazing. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the heart me. And let me turn. Hey Google, stop. I can't talk and listen to that at the same time. I can't multitask, especially after the day that I've had. So this is making a lot of sounds. I don't know if we want the sounds. Someone said I'm so cool. This is how I know you don't know me in person. I am not the coolest. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's see. No, we don't want to do that. Well, we'll figure that out another day. Thank you guys for coming in. You love my hair. Thank you for that. Thank you. I actually just got it done yesterday. And I always tell people I don't really like how it looks when it's fresh. I think it looks kind of, I like it when it's a little fuzzier, but I appreciate that. Yeah, there's a live goal. Stop touching stuff. It's just, okay. I know it's the gifts, but like the noise, I don't know. It's like throwing me off a little bit. You know, I can't multitask. I can't do more than one thing at once. What's up? Thank y'all for coming in. What's up, Unbuttoned fam? I really appreciate y'all for coming in. Always so appreciative that y'all will come and spend your Monday nights with me. How was your Monday? Mine was horrible. Not horrible. Could have been worse. But mine was it was a rough day. It was a rough day. It was very busy. It was a Monday. It was the Monday of all Mondays. The Mondayest Monday. You have an accent. Where are you from? Well, we're going to talk about where I'm from tonight. That's a big part of the show. I'm from the Bahamas. And so is my guest, Z. We're both from the Bahamas. Thank you for coming in. What's up, Sammy? What's up? What's up, Camille? Come on in. Come on through. So I want to thank y'all, first of all, it was a good day. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for bringing the positivity, because if I sit there and talk about my day, I'm still like working out the kinks of moving. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you notice, I told y'all the next time y'all see me come in here, my setup is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to have the wine rack behind me. I'm not going to have, because I moved. So that was a whole big deal. Thank you. What accent? I always ask people what accent. I don't really. You're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it a little bit more when I start talking to my Bahamian brother in a moment. What's up? What's up? Hi. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming through. Tell me what time it is where you are right now. And guys, like, where are you watching from? That's something I always forget to ask y'all as well, because I'm so curious. Like, where is everybody from? There are some regulars in here. I know where a lot of you guys are from, but some of you are new. So thank you for letting me know. What's up, Gigi? Des? I'm in Houston. You're in Houston. Okay, cool. Tennessee. All right. Went to school in Tennessee. We're gonna talk about that tonight. We went to college in Tennessee. What part of Tennessee? Thank you for liking the live. Thank you for sharing it. Ooh, brutal. Oh my God. 3:07 in the morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you. If you need to dip out and go to sleep, because I'm gonna be yapping. I'm just gonna be talking. If you need to, you might fall asleep to my voice, to be honest, because 3. She's you know what, Anomaly? She said Amsterdam. Okay, I love it. You're from South Africa. It's 5:07. Wow. And see, you're in Canada, right? So I have my my wine that I'm always drinking. I have it set up on some boxes over here, because everything is all over the place. But anyway, let's talk. So before I get into tonight's topic, I just want to thank you guys. What school in Tennessee? A school you've never heard of. I promise. It's called Lee University. Well, you may have heard of it. It's a tiny little school in Cleveland, Tennessee. I bet you've never heard of Cleveland, Tennessee, even though you're from Knoxville. How do you join it? I'm gonna bring you up in a second. Z, and we'll work that out in a second. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for rocking with me. I know that I've been MIA. I've been moving, and I've been doing it by myself, and I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I've made some mistakes. I should have asked for more help. I kind of almost took myself out. I'm barely surviving. Okay, you see me here. Listen, I was telling somebody the other day, my face is breaking out. It's been stressful. But what's up, Pisces Tish? That's it, right? Because we talk a little bit, and I don't remember. Okay, hold on a second. Many of my relatives are from Cleveland, Tennessee. Absolutely. You're kidding me. I thought no one's ever heard of Cleveland except me and Z, who went to school there for umpteen years. Take everything one day at a time. Thank you. That's great advice. I did not do that. I did not do that. I should have. I should have. Yeah, yeah. Z is laughing. But no, I made mistakes. I should have asked for more help, but I don't like to. Thank you. Thank you. You said you love my hair. I appreciate that. I don't like to ask people for help. I don't like to burden people. And that's something that I'm working on. That's something that I'm working on. Actually, I I met up with some friends of the show. What's up, Kels? She's coming in now. I met up with some friends of the show, and who became real friends. And they got on me about that. They were like, "Why didn't you ask us for help?" Because that's Erin, and they actually offered to help me, and I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." Nelly died. Telling you, Nelly died. But I'm proud of myself. My apartment is a mess, but I love it. It's great. So far, so good. Maggie and I, my cat, we're enjoying it. So maybe I'll call y'all to help me unpack. I need some help with that. But I feel accomplished. I do feel accomplished. Anybody else bad at asking for help, or is that just an Erin thing? Thank you for offering the help. I really appreciate it, because even if I don't accept it, I do appreciate it. You're bad too, Ren. Anomaly, yeah, I know for a fact that you are. What's up, Rasta? Thank you for coming in. Okay, so it's a lot of us who don't like to ask for help. Okay. Oh, Kels, you don't like to ask for help, but you were berating me. You were getting right on me at the brunch for not asking for more help. A hyper independent girl. I don't even know if I'm independent. I might just be dumb. There might be something wrong with me. So I was over here just hauling everything. Eventually I did get someone to help me move some boxes. But I should have gotten more help than I did. But it's all good. I'll be your emotional support. I need that too. Shoot. I will, but I don't like. I'm different. So anyway, let's talk about that. Shout out to Kels and Yenla. So we met up to have brunch. We met up on the weekend. We had a great time. These are two amazing supporters of the show. We got up to celebrate. We got together to celebrate Yenla's birthday, her belated birthday, and we had a good time. So I don't know if either one of them want to chime in and talk about like how super tall I am, like 6'3", or like maybe how like handsome I am in person. I don't know if y'all want to just chime in and talk about it, but if you do, the floor is yours. The floor is yours. No, seriously, we had a great time. That's where I saw you today. Wait a minute, what? You saw me? What do you mean you saw me? Thank you for coming up. 6'3". I'm not 6'3". I'm kidding. I'm so extra. I am extra. I've heard that. Extra dramatic. All the things. We were just talking about that a minute ago. Maybe the Leo thing. 6'3", 5'4". I'm not 5'4". Yeah. We all posted about the brunch, and I commented on I think Kels, and I was like, it's interesting going out with content creators because you're gonna see the same event from multiple angles, and I absolutely love that. So, this is the thing. So if you have 3 friends, so if it's me, Kels, and Yinla, you got to be in the middle. You're the neutral one. So you can't always side with Kels. She's saying I'm a reserved dramatic. Am I reserved? Would you say I'm reserved? Or am I extra? Which one is it? Anyway, we getting off topic. It was great to meet you guys, and I want to have a bigger Houston meetup. So if you guys are in Houston, Taylor, I know that you're in Houston because I see you at all the museums and stuff, and I always tell you that we're gonna run into each other someday because I love museums. I'm always at a museum when I'm not busy doing a million things. Yes, I'm in Houston. So yeah, I want to have a bigger Houston meetup, and some of you who live close by, I mean, y'all could come too. Anomaly, let's do it. Come on through. Yeah, I know. So we're gonna have another meetup soon, and we're gonna have a great time. So thank y'all again. So tonight's conversation is really, really personal to me. Um, Forgive me if I get emotional. Y'all already know I'm emotional. I never hide that. I'm always in here tearing up or in full cry. Let me bring this a little closer. Hold up. You'll fly in to meet us. Okay, we're gonna hold you to that. We're gonna hold you to that. So yeah, tonight we're talking about home. We're talking about identity. We're talking about being our authentic selves, even when we are in spaces that can feel like a little bit intimidating. And for me, going home is complicated. I'm excited about going home. I'm from the Bahamas again, and I miss it so much. If y'all hear clacking, it's my rings. I'm always click clacking. And it's just been an emotional time. The move, everything is, you'll fly in. Okay, thank you. So where's Z? Z, can you comment? Because I'm going to bring you up in a second. So I'm going back home for something really special. My mom is turning 70 years old. And my grandpa, so we thought he was turning 100. He's actually turning 99. Long story. But we're still going to celebrate him. They both have birthdays on Valentine's Day. So, yeah, we're going to have a big party to celebrate. And I'm nervous because I'm going to be meeting up with some of my mom's, not meeting up with, they're going to come to the party. Some of my mom's church friends, extended family who I haven't seen in a million years. I haven't been home in maybe three or 4 years now. But when I do go home, I try to stay away from people that I know as much as possible. I go and see my immediate family, and that's good enough for me. But I can't escape them this time because, again, they're all invited to this big bash that we're having. So I'm going to be in the room with lots of people who knew me back then who haven't seen me in my full masculine presenting. Yeah, exactly. The anxiety of judgment. Absolutely. And there's something crazy. That's so crazy about that because you're going home. Home is where you should feel the safest, right? Home is where you should feel the most embraced for exactly who you are. And a lot of times it's the exact opposite. So I want to talk about that tonight. And I hope Z is still in here. Z was talking about he might fall asleep. And that's something we're going to talk about as well. Z, hold on. Let's see. Say something. There we go. I'm bringing you up. Hold on. My guy, what's going on?
Hey, you can hear me?
I can hear you very clearly.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Everything, nothing much is going on actually. Toronto is pretty snowy and cold.
Oh yeah, I bet. It's been super cold in Houston, so I can't imagine Toronto must be freezing.
Listen, I came straight from Nassau and it was hot. It was hot. Even Christmas Day, I was like sweating in the back of my grandmother's yard on Christmas
It's
Day. And
not
then I
hot there
come
now
here.
though.
Well, I heard it's not hot. I saw some news type thing like it's snowing, but I
Hmm.
pretty was it really snowing?
I don't think it was snowing. I think it was like it was the cold. It's apparently the coldest it's ever been in the Bahamas, like ever.
Oh,
So that's kind of wild.
that's interesting. Okay, okay. Well, that's I guess that's good for the people that needed some change in the weather.
Yeah, they love
But
it. Let them get you get to put on your jacket like one time a year. So like let them enjoy that and complain and have a good time. But I was just talking about how, I love the Bahamas. Like I'm sure you do too. Like I am the most patriotic person. I miss I miss Conk. I miss Guavaduff. I miss all the things. You just left there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you when I left. I left on the 22nd actually. I left January 22nd, so I
Wow.
just been here like what that is, like 8 days or so. But today is
Hmm.
the second. So
Yeah.
I've been here a little bit more than 8 days or whatever, and I've been it's kind of interesting because I'm here, my friend, I'm staying at my friend's house. Well, I always stay here when I come in, and I'm taking care of her dogs, her animal, and her cat, her dog and a cat, and I have to take the dog out for like walks and stuff.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, listen,
Like a shock to the system.
that's no joke, yo. It's just
Yeah.
like it was cold the day after I came. I went out and I was just like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be out here now because it felt like it was like some type of snowstorm, some type of cold warning or something. Oh yeah, yeah.
Listen, man, just hey, stay warm and be safe. But before we get too far into it, I really want you to introduce yourself. We're gonna
Okay,
talk about how we met and what that was like way back a million years ago. But yeah, introduce yourself and tell the people what's up with you.
so my name is Zan. Everybody calls me Z. I met Aaron back in at Lee University. I think I was studying business during that time and singing a lot with the choir. And I remember what Aaron was studying, but anyways, that could be relevant. But anyways, we met each other
You do remember what I was
there.
studying? Wait. What was I studying?
I
Let's hear
think
it.
you were either studying a communications major.
Journalism, creative writing minor. So yeah,
Okay.
they're saying hi to you in the chat.
Oh,
But
hi
that's
everyone.
good
Hi
memory.
everyone. Yeah. So yeah, we met, and it's actually been pretty funny. I was thinking about some of those days we would have a party by that house that I have close to the school,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd have parties there. And I remember you over there to one of my parties. We had such a good time that night. Yeah.
We had some good times. Okay, all right, we laughing. But let's back it up a little bit. So you talked about how we met, but I want you to talk about you. Tell the people who you are, the big things that have happened in your life.
Oh, me. I guess I always forget about all the big things. I'm just living.
Mm-hmm.
Every day is a day where I feel like at least I get to be consistent and be disciplined. So, anyways, so my as I said, my name is Z. Everybody calls me Z, and I'm trans. I transitioned in. Well, I identified as not being able to feel connected with being a biological uh, girl when I was born. I wasn't able to identify with it, and I talked to my mom about it, but I'd asked her questions about it, but there weren't any resources over there, so I kind of got dismissed to a certain extent. So I identified as being trans when I came over, when I in Toronto about 2016, 2017, around that time. I was in film school. I'll never forget it. I remember it clear as day. I went to film school, and then there was this individual. They said, my pronouns are they. I was walking past a class and I thought, oh my gosh, like I had the opportunity to start fresh and to identify the way I want to be identified. Um, and I didn't start as yet when I was in film school. I started after I graduated because film school was pretty much the hardest degree I ever studied. I studied an MBA as well, and I studied a diploma in film production. And the week after I graduated, actually, that's when I decided, hey, I don't want to I don't want to hide who I am anymore. I don't want to feel I don't want to think about it in a way like where I'm intellectualizing, oh my God, I'm going to be at an intersection now. I'm going to be black and trans. How many more things do I need to
And
have
a foreigner, right?
and a foreigner
Yep.
to have against me, or to have in my umbrella of experiences, my lived experiences, why do I need to be this marginalized? I was intellectualizing it and fighting it, and when I decided that I was going to identify, I never forget, I was in a relationship with someone during that time, and they boo boo cried. I was smiling. I remember I had a smile that was so big. I remember just smiling in a weird way and thinking and hoping that she would then join me in this
Accept you.
weird
Yeah.
this weird big smile. And it was actually hard for her because she was saying, well, if you're identifying as that, then what does that make me?
Hmm.
That kind of way that made her feel like that changed who she identified as, um, when that happened to me. But I was happy to finally be able to say it out of my mouth. And eventually, I told my family, and I can't say that um, I can't say that it has been 100% flawless. My family, they're great to me. I go there, I stay with them.
Well,
I
pause, Desi. Let me pause you there for a second because I want to get into that, and I want to get into that because that is so much of what we're talking about today, right?
Yeah,
I know your family. Like I've spent time with
yeah,
them, like, and they're great people, just like my family is. But we know the struggle of not being fully accepted. We know the struggle
yeah,
of you feel the love from these people, but
yeah,
they don't fully get it. Sometimes they don't want to get
mhm,
it of who you are.
yeah,
And that's difficult, right? And again, that's part of what we're talking about today. I'm going home to the
yeah,
Bahamas, and I'm going to be around people who I know love me, but they don't always know how to fully accept and fully embrace who I am. And that's for a lot of reasons. That's because we come from, a Christian nation. You know what I mean? It's their upbringing, it's their surroundings. We don't always feel safe. We don't always feel comfortable being exactly who we are. And I know one of the reasons why you left was because you didn't feel like it was completely safe for you there, right?
oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I can talk about that. I could talk about that. I went my a particular person I used to hang out with during that day and time was celebrating that they had gotten a new vehicle, and we went out. We were on the towns. We were celebrating. We went out to this place, this downtown LGBTQ spot, and I got physically assaulted in the parking lot yard. So I was experiencing like, and it wasn't like, I got physically assaulted, so I ended up having to go to PMH, and I realized, oh my gosh, like I
PMH
wasn't
is
I
one of our
wasn't being,
hospitals.
yeah, PMH, it's yeah, Princess Margaret Hospital. Yeah, I was thinking,
Where I was born. Were you
you
born
was
there
born
too?
there?
Yeah, you
My
weren't.
mother said, yeah, I was born there. I was born there. I was born there.
I feel like most of us were
And
born there. Yeah. Uh oh. Uh oh. What happened, Z? You back? Okay. Sorry, you
you
went
can
out for
hear
a
me?
minute. Yeah, I can hear you
Oh,
now.
yeah. Anyway, so I ended up going there, and going through a lot of moving feelings about, yeah, not being safe in my country, like just not being safe, like going to places and really people not knowing how to categorize me, what and why did they even feel like they had to, is my question. Why couldn't I just be perceived as a body, as a person who was just into their own world during that time, and them in their own world. It's just people just wanted to get into my business a lot, so I wasn't safe. and I sought a different place to live in, and that's how I ended up moving to Canada 13 or 14 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody in the chat is saying they're sorry that that happened to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, everyone.
I'm very sorry that that happened to you as well. I know we've spoken about it a few times, and you know, you're actually, even though that happened and that was terrible, you made it out. Well, we both know people who didn't make it. We both know people
Oh,
who were attacked and lost their lives in our country that we
yeah.
love. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, um,
We know people. I know. Yeah, we definitely. I know people that have lost their lives in very in violent situations. I have a person that I knew that went into to politics. His life became like he was LGBTQ identified. He decided, like, before he went into politics, he would start leading a very quiet, reserved life, so that a lot of people who didn't know about, what his sexual orientation was. And eventually, he got shot. He got shot, and he ended up like shot dead in a car in either a drive-by or something like that. So yeah, I know people that died, in the Bahamas.
yeah, same, same. I know people personally who were attacked. I know people who've lost their lives, and one of the reasons why. I mean, from I was a young kid, my parents, they kind of encouraged us to leave the island and go explore, and come to the States and wherever we wanted to go, and have the experience of being outside of our country. They really wanted to expand our minds. But for me personally, I knew I wanted to get out because I wanted to live authentically in my truth. Like I couldn't wait to go to school, not to learn, so that I could be as gay as I wanted to be. And one of the reasons why you and I connected, I feel like you and I were like two of the only masculine presenting people from the Bahamas who were there. And in
Yeah.
our little small little school, we went to a predominantly white university. And when I say predominantly white, the school was already small. Okay, so there was a tiny, tiny, tiny little handful of us, and we had remember having to sign the contract that we wouldn't be gay.
Yeah.
Remember having to sign that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was real. It was real. And you and I connected right away because not only, were we both from the Bahamas, yeah, we had to sign a contract. You had to sign a contract saying that you wouldn't drink, smoke, do all these different behaviors, but then also that you wouldn't be gay. Raise your hand if you broke that contract. I broke it. I broke it so hard. I broke that contract so hard.
Listen,
Yeah.
I broke that hard. We broke to a couple of them really hard. I,
We
I
broke.
was I was probably on social probation at some
Oh
point.
my gosh. Yes, 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 yes.
On
But we
social
were just we were
probation.
just living our lives. We were exploring, and I got to thank you, Z, because your apartment was one of the few safe spaces that I had. Like your apartment, my bestie's apartment, who was right across the street from you. We would go there, and I could be myself. I could bring whoever I was dating there. We could be ourselves. You know what I mean? We didn't have to worry about hiding. At one point, I was the president of the Bahamian Connection Club, and I was, what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like we were again just being ourselves. I would have broken all of them and not care one bit. Yeah, but there was serious consequences. Like I knew people who were suspended, expelled. I had a gay guy who lived on my couch for months because he got kicked out of school because they found out he was gay, and he couldn't go home to his parents. So that's the
Yeah,
kind
I
of
knew that
environment.
was. Anyway, who
Go
that
ahead,
was?
Z.
Yo, anyway, tell me later.
You I don't know if you remember him, but yeah, he lived on my couch for a while because he couldn't go home. And it's crazy because even in that space I felt more safe being myself than I felt back at home. Isn't that
Oh
crazy?
wow.
Yeah. And
Oh
what's even
wow.
more insane was that, I was at school being masculine presenting and feeling, fully free to just be myself. Well, with restraints. This was Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee. Yes, it was a very religious. Yeah, yeah, it's a Christian school. And then and this is kind of embarrassing for me to say. This is very vulnerable for me to say, but I would go home and I would shrink. Right? I was still, sometimes I would still go into church. I was still dressing femininely. I was still, there were times when I was still okay. So I went to my sister's wedding. I wore a dress to my sister's wedding. This is when we were still in college. I don't even know if you knew that. I took my girlfriend at the time home with me, and I wore a dress to my sister's wedding. To my father's funeral, I wore a dress, and that was the
Oh,
last time. That was in 2010. That was the last time I did, but I felt so much like shame for doing that, but I knew that was what was expected of me. You know what I mean?
oh, I so want to talk. I want to talk about the whole dress bearing thing. I want to
Mm,
talk about that. So,
yeah.
I I know we're going to talk about the difference between being going back home, being in the Bahamas, maybe from now, like how it's different from now to like back then. I know we were probably going to talk about that because there is a huge difference
Okay.
now. So, anyways, so I want us to touch on that, but I want to talk about the dress wearing phase. As a trans man, with the dress wearing phase, some people will never feel like they can see you identifying as a particular way or as masculine when they have seen you, uh like I'm talking generally, like when they have how they've seen me wearing dresses, they'll be just like,
Yeah.
oh, but I used to see you wearing dresses. I'm like, painfully though.
Yeah.
Like, even when because I used to model my cousin's dresses as well, which is so crazy, right? Because he would create dresses, and
Shout out to my
I
guy. I love your cousin.
yeah,
My boy.
when I started more, yeah, he's my guy as well. When I started doing that, like, his clothing design was headed towards androgynous wear. And so I wore his clothing line, and knowing that it was supposed to go to clothing line that's like just in between, like everything is the same. If you want to wear it in unisex, then you can find it. If you were looking for boy clothes, you won't be able to find it. All is the same. That's where his clothing line was headed.
Okay.
And but he never turned it into that entirely. So the time that I was modeling his clothing line, it was just only wearing the dresses and the feminine things, and some of the photos got pretty big, right? Like, one of the photos was like got like first place for fashion photo of the year in New York.
Wow.
And I think it was 2014. I forget which particular magazine or which particular initiative, but yeah. So it was kind of hard to be perceived as trans masculine when, the extent to which I wore dresses, like so many people got to see me wear dresses and model dresses and actually look pretty decent, and
You did. You
and
look
some
great.
of yeah, so just wanted to talk about that a little while, because
Yeah.
sometimes the LGBTQ community, they are the hardest on other trans members. They never want to feel like it can't just be, oh, now that you've identified that way, then now you're that way. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, come on,
Yeah.
seriously. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
1,000%. Like we can definitely relate on that. And I remember, for years after that, just beating myself up about it. Like, why did I do that? Why didn't I just, you know, why wasn't I more of myself? But I was protecting myself.
Yeah.
Not that I thought that I would necessarily get attacked, grateful. I'm sorry that that happened to you. I can't, I don't have that story. I've never been in fear of that, but sometimes, the fear of what people think and what people are going to say to you can be almost as bad. You know what I mean? So when I show up at my mom's party, like I know that I'm going to get looks. You know what I mean? I'm going to be sitting at the head table with the most feminine woman on earth, my mother. I have four sisters. I'm gonna stand out. I always stand out, when I'm with them. And there are gonna be people who are gonna be looking at me like staring right at me because we're gonna be in the front of the room. I was gonna wear a suit. I'm not gonna wear a suit anymore. But yeah, people are gonna just give me the death stare all night, and there are gonna be people. I fear this moment of going up to hug some people that I haven't seen in a million years intentionally, and they kind of being like, like I worry about that.
Oh,
Have you ever experienced that? Like, have you
oh,
ever with your family or
oh,
with other people that you knew from before?
oh. Here's how I navigate that. Have I experienced it? I I go by people's aura. I normally see people before they see me. If they want to act like they don't know my face, then I think, okay, they're not ready to digest this person, the person that I am now,
Mm-hmm.
because they were more attached to the physical shell as when I presenting as more feminine, they were more attached to that. So now that I'm not presenting that way, they're not attached to who I'm presenting as anymore, which is quite interesting because I've one of my god brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him. I was going with my mom to pick up my nieces from school, and he was picking up his daughter from school. And I glimpsed him before he glimpsed me, and even though I didn't see his body kind of gotten like like resistant, I didn't see his body resistant. I didn't exactly see his body open it like his mindset open either. So I know how that looks like with body language because when you go through situations and you walk into danger and there are things that you could have been paying attention to that you didn't, now I always pay attention to what's that person's body language looking like, and then I tend to either lean into that or I lean away from it. If I really love that person and I haven't seen them in a long time, like I love them, I love the memories that we have, then I throw myself out there. I become vulnerable and I go right up to them and I say, "Hey, what's going on?" So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's easy. Like someone said, be confident in yourself. Like I'm reading some of these comments, and I appreciate you guys, your support. Yeah, she said it. She said our presence is going to help somebody, and that's something that I always have in the back of my mind is being that person that I wish that I could have seen growing up. I didn't really see anyone who looked like me. I talked about this before. I've talked about this before on the show. I saw one person who was masculine presenting my whole life growing up, and people called her crazy. They talked about her like she was terrible. So it wasn't a good example for me, right? Um, but one thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to say this very, very, very carefully, is privilege, right? I recognize the privilege that I have as someone who is Bahamian, but who lives abroad. So I can kind of live my life almost as, kind of as freely as, thank you for having me, as freely as I want to live it. That's one kind of privilege because I live here, right? Um, I want to talk about the privilege of feminine presenting queer people who can kind of go back into these spaces and be themselves. They could kind of turn it off and turn it on. They don't have to like
Right.
reveal who they are, right? If they don't want to, if they feel unsafe, if they feel like, this is my cousin, who is being the church, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to tell her. They don't have to. You know what I mean? She might ask,
Yeah.
where your husband, where your boyfriend, and they could just say, yeah, we broke up last week, so that's why you don't see him with me, or I don't have one, whatever, right? And then even for you, Z, again, I'm gonna say this as respectfully as possible, as a trans man, right? And everybody who's in this live right now, they're not seeing you right now because you're not on camera, but you pass as a, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
no one looking at you could tell, right? So are there
Right.
spaces that you go into with people who don't know you and you fully present as a man and you don't have to share anything about your transition?
Oh, you mean in the Bahamas?
Anywhere
Yeah,
you
right.
go, anywhere you go,
Oh,
if you feel unsafe, if you feel like this is a place
oh,
where I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm trans, like, do you ever feel like I can pass? Because there are a lot of people, I mean, because you can, right? And there are a lot of trans men who can't necessarily, there are a lot of trans women who can't necessarily, have that same type of privilege where they can, like, literally pass and they don't have to share who they are. You know what I'm saying? And I feel
yeah.
like for a lot of masculine presenting people, we don't have that same kind of grace to just walk into a room, like, people know immediately.
Okay. So, I wasn't digesting if I pass or not, but I also was aware that I did.
Hmm.
Um, but I didn't have the extent to which I did pass because when I transitioned during the pandemic. So I was in the house for 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, and when I came out of the house, people didn't know who I was, and I thought that they were playing me. When they saw me, I was just like, whatever. If you want to act like you don't know me, fine. That way. So uh that led me to maybe like a bad experience or so where I was just like there was a person that didn't show interest in me when I was more on the androgynous side, and as soon as I became more on the masculine side, they had taken to how I started looking.
Wait, hold on.
And
When you
so
say interest, you mean like romantically? Like, this is someone who was interested in you romantically?
yeah,
Okay.
there was someone I was interested in, and they had share a little bit of interest in me. And I when I respond to them being interested, then they said, "Oh, I just laid it out. I said I'm trans, but I didn't start taking testosterone yet." So I was like, "Yeah, and this is who I am." And then they kind of rejected. They rejected. They rejected that idea. They didn't like that. So it's just like, well, okay, moving right along. So I started seeing someone else, like I tend to. When somebody doesn't want to, you don't want to be interested in me. Okay, well, okay then. I'm not gonna be hang up over you.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so when they'd seen me when I started to transition, I came out of the house after the pandemic. They were just like, well, I don't know who this person is, but they knew who I was, but they didn't think that I looked the same anymore.
Mhm.
So sometimes it works like that. People that weren't attracted to you become attracted to you, and people that were attracted to you when you were more feminine lose their attraction.
I'm trying to think about whether that's happened to me in my life. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely people that I've been friends with, but, well, not, let me not say friends. There are people who I've been in relationships with. There are people that I've dated who, some like me more masculine, some like me to be more feminine. Like, it's people's preferences. You came out a butterfly. Absolutely, absolutely. And I must say, Z, you're a very handsome man. Like, you're very
Thank
handsome,
you.
and
Thank
I'm
you
I'm
very much.
jealous. Like, I feel like you have muscles, and I want muscles. You know what I mean? Like,
Him as well. Don't you let what the thing about it, bro, like the thing about it is I like to acknowledge of both sides of the person's presentation. And some, even now, as you can hear, some women, they don't like it, but everybody calls everybody bro now. Like, you know
yeah.
bro, like it's sometimes like whether you're feminine or masculine. So I think It's high time that people start acknowledging the masculine centered individuals as they have been presenting for a long time, but because the world has is so feminine dominated right now, like this is like now it's more masculine, but the years past it's been very feminine dominated, and they haven't exactly, I wouldn't say women haven't, it's just been more difficult to allow your masculinity to shine when femininity has been trying to regain its power.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point because I made a video a little while ago that people kind of resonated with. And I talked about, like, I feel like 2025 was the year of the masculine presenting queer person. Like, we were more visible to me than ever before, right?
Mhm.
And we're becoming more visible than ever before because in media, you would see when you saw lesbians in media, it was two feminine lesbians together. You know, they rarely showed masculine presenting people, and it's like we exist, studs exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been here for 44 years. You know what I'm saying? Like we exist. We're out here, and you know, I want us to be seen. I want us to be seen in a positive light, and that's one of the reasons why you know we're here on this platform. Um, so yeah, Z, I want to talk about like how did your family, you know, did they embrace you when you went back home?
Oh,
Um, if you want to talk
oh,
about that, because I know you lived with them when you went back.
yeah, totally, totally. Being able to stay with my family, be with my family, live with my family has been actually, it's been beautiful, you know. It's my shoulders have gotten broadened, and it's not like, hey, I went there so I can be like a punching bag, and so when I come back I could take more punches. I could be able to take stronger punches. It's not like that. It's that leaving 13 years, there's so many more variables that people want to know and care about than you know, in addition to being trans, you know. So it's like it was quite difficult. It was not easy, you know.
Did they
My nieces were,
understand at all? Did they were they like, okay, yeah, we get this because we saw this coming, or were they just like mind blown? We don't get this. Like, talk about their reaction to it.
so reactions. Okay, reactions. So my niece, my oldest niece, I came up to her years back, and she was always very supportive. My family on my dad's side are very LGBTQ. Um, I really do think it's genetics. I really do think so.
Mm.
Um, so it makes like his side of the family, like when we went to go visit, because now he introduces me to the family, to his family as a son. He has to. If not, he just looks
Wow,
like,
are you kidding me?
yeah,
So he introduces you
yeah.
as his son. That's amazing. Like, wow.
Oh yeah, like he has to do that. I mean, if not, then then people are looking at him like something's going
Like
on, and
what? Yeah, that's true.
I'm just laughing like, okay, now you're 73 and I'm how old I am, and you're making it more unsafe for us than you are actually putting us in safety zone if you're if you're doing that. So he
Yeah.
realized that it wasn't exactly working out in his best interest or my best interest. So he introduced me to all of his friends as son, and when he introduced me to his family, he did the same. And then I met a lot of I want to say they're two spirited. I met a lot of my two spirited family, and I know a lot of my LGBTQ family. That some of them actually are on my Facebook list. Um, that moved to Canada as well. So with my mom's side of the family, my mom's dad, he calls me him as well. He's 89. Um, he respects my pronouns. My brother, I correct them on a regular basis. I correct them and I let them know. when I get tired of them, or if they misgender me and they're not they intentionally not respecting my pronouns, because some days they just get pissed and they don't wanna. Right, like my family, they have attitudes, yo.
Yeah,
They
and
don't
that's a way
wanna.
to make a dig at you, calling you,
Oh yeah,
yeah, misgendering you, like you said. Yeah,
but
that's
they
kind of
don't do it to
crazy.
dig at me. They don't do it to dig at me.
Okay,
They do it to just. They do it to just say, "Hey, why we gotta change who we know you as? Why we have to compromise the stories that we have built because now we have to call you a different pronoun." And that's me understanding their point of view a little bit, but there is too much ownership within in my family, in terms of, oh, you're my family member, so you belong to me. So that's how it was. It was kind of, it was I wouldn't say it was disrespectful entirely. They were doing their best in respecting who I was, and a lot of the relationship that we didn't have for a long period of time, we got to rebuild that, but it's not easy.
it's not easy. It's not easy for anyone involved, but that's okay. Like it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? Like if you love me, if you respect me, you will embrace who I am as best you can. And I understand people make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like I that's okay. People make mistakes all the time. You know, I tell people, listen, I'm not comfortable with certain like terms. I don't want to be called a lady. I don't want to be called ma'am. I don't want to be called, and I respect people who try. You don't have to get it right all the time, but try because you respect me and you love me. And so
Yeah.
again, that's just that I appreciate that. So I mean, it's great to hear that you have like support in your family, even when they don't always get it right. I feel a lot of times that I'm the only one in my family. I know I'm not. I can count maybe at least two other people, but they are not comfortable being themselves, and that's a shame. So here I am. I'm out there. I'm basically waving my flag, and nobody. I don't have any support. I don't have any backup because it's like I'm the only one. You know. So yeah,
Well, I kind of know, I know how that feels to a certain extent, but not to the extent that, okay, I know it to this extent. You know how you were saying earlier, we got to move away, we got to move away in order to be who we are.
yeah.
So when we got back, we saw people that didn't evolve as much as they could have. They went more into their shell because, so I had a cousin, like my LGBTQ cousin is the first one that comes to come see me when I get in Nassau, and dig this. She got to a point where like she was just trying to live life for everybody else, I think. And
Mm.
I don't know, I felt like her journey, because she didn't have a lot of people to support her as an LGBTQ individual, it took her life took a lot of turns it wouldn't have taken.
Mm. Wow.
That's the thing, right? And I told I always tell my mom those. I says, when you see somebody making a decision after they've been trying to be themselves, or they've been being themselves, but the family always turn an eye or never want them to bring their significant people to the house, and treat them like you would treat a heteronormative relationship. When you don't support them to that extent, what direction do you expect them to go in
Hmm.
with their dating and their social activities? Where do you expect that to go? What direction? And when you see them not being supported and what that looks like, and they're going in a bad direction, and you decide to still not give them the support, I see the difference between my life and other, like my cousin's life, that might not have gotten out of the space that they needed to get out of in order to thrive to the extent that they needed to. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I finally came out because I feel like I came out way late because everybody already knew, but there came a point where I had to actually say the words. And it was so funny because I was about to get married when I sat everybody down. It's crazy, right? When
Stop.
I told everybody, and I remember telling my mom, I was like, "Listen, it's be who I am, or it is." I don't want to say it on here, but I could not live not being able to be who I am. And I remember when I said it to her in the way that I said it, she was like, "Oh no, 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 we're not," and she got really nervous. She got really scared. But I told her, I was like, "This is how important it is for me," because I remember even when I came out, one of my sisters was like, I understand, like, okay, yeah, you like girls, cool, 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 but like, do you have to like go the extra step of getting married? Like, do you have to do all of that? I'm like, I'm trying to live my life in the same way that you're living your life. You're about to get married. You know what I mean? But you want me to just be in the shadows over here and like live half a life. You know what I'm saying? And people they don't think sometimes before they say it. Like you want me to live half a life while you get to explore and do all the things that you wanted to do, your whole life, right?
Oh, I could
So
talk a lot about that. I
yeah.
mean, like my brother that passed away, because I came out to him before he passed, and I told him, I said, I have something to tell you. And I told him, and he said, after I told him, my younger brother responded like where he hated that I came out as trans. He hated that I was that person. And my older brother said, everybody they prefer to see themselves happy
Yeah.
before they celebrate to the same degree that they would celebrate for themselves, that they celebrate for you.
Yeah.
Watch the world and see. And then you're thinking intelligently then, right? Because everybody could throw around the word I love you. Well, do you love me and hope that I have the same things that you afforded? Or do you love me to the extent where you think what is good for you is not good enough for me, or
Mm.
it's too good for me, rather?
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
I
I felt
I
that one.
was dealing with that a lot as well, and that can cause a lot of distance. The smarter you get when you see what support looks like, and you know that your family isn't supporting, and
Yeah.
they prefer you to do this wander around, and actually, it felt at some point that it felt in observing LGBTQ people that they were cornering a lot of their LGBTQ family members to, hey, if you do it out there in the street and you sleep with people out there, cool, just don't bring it home. So what are you saying then?
Yeah, one hundred
So
percent.
there's that.
And I want to ask in the chat before I move on. Have you ever felt the need to hide, whether when you went home to your family around your own people? Have you ever felt the need to shrink yourself to make other people more comfortable? Yeah. Hi. Thank you for coming up. I sent you an invite. Thank you for coming on the panel.
You're welcome.
Always good to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, what do you have to lend to the conversation tonight? You want to talk about the privilege of feminine presenting people?
You really do like to put me on the spot, don't
I'm
you?
just listen. I just feel like it's a very important conversation to have.
Okay, wait. Give me a second. 1 second.
Sure, take your time. Kel says absolutely. It's like be who you are out there, but we don't want to see it. Yeah, 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 yeah. 100%. Saint, are you in here? Cool. I haven't seen you in a minute.
Oh, so
Um.
you was talking about the whole feminine part,
Mhm.
my ex, she moved back to the Bahamas. The one who I told you I came out to as trans, and they started boo boo crying
Mhm.
because they were
So
trying to
she's
figure out
she's also
what the fuck.
Bahamian.
She's a Bahamian. She
Okay.
going back home. She's living regularly and no problem. No problem at all. Less
Yeah.
backlash.
What's up? What's up, Saint? We gotta have you at the Houston meetup. This is a new Houston transplant. But yeah. That's real. That's real. And there are a lot of ways I'm jealous of that. Like you can go and you can kind of be yourself. You can turn it off, turn it on, or not turn it off and turn it on, but you can choose to disclose it if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You have that privilege of being able to quote unquote hide. I don't. When I walk into the room, everybody know. Gay, dyke, whatever you want to call me. Like there you go. Just because of how I present myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Even
100%.
though it's judging, a person's gender expression is different from their sexual
One
orientation,
hundred
right?
percent, because
Like,
they don't know for a fact. Like maybe I just
right.
like to wear boy clothes. You know what I'm saying? But they assume. You know what I'm saying? They rightly assume because I am. But at the same time, like I can't hide who I am. I just can't. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to,
Yeah.
but maybe sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do it.
I'm just saying. I'm thinking again. I'm thinking about when I go around my family. Like I really have that fear right now of seeing not my immediate family. They whatever, but my extended family, the people from my mom's church, are gonna be there, in the audience, and they're gonna look at me like, what's going on here? Like we don't. This is not the person that we remember.
They
And
know. They just watch TV. They know. They know what
just watch
LGBTQ
TV
people
for
look like.
real.
They act like they don't know, but they know. They know. They know. And the Bahamas. Listen, the Bahamas. That is the part I didn't talk about. Like the Bahamas. Like I went out because I've been over there for 4 months. Not a short period of time. Like that's the longest I ever been over there for 13 years.
Wow.
And I had a friend. I was in my heart. I was longing for like a childhood friend. Of course, I have childhood LGBTQ cousins, but like where I could laugh about stuff that happened when I was a kid, right? When I was a teenager, who could laugh with me about this stuff? Like, as in my head. And it so happened that one of my childhood friends, we were like going out. We were, like to like LGBTQ places. Like I'm not saying like it's a whole lot of places. I'm not saying, but how it is now is that it's a lot of LGBTQ people, like a lot, like straight up from like from students in school. So it's like not as much as you're not in danger per se, but you should, if you do go out to like socialize at a LGBTQ spot, you should always go with someone
Mm-hmm.
because that's just the best way to do it. But when I went to LGBTQ places, like before, the police used to just come and raid the spots,
Yeah.
like straight up just raid the spots and send
Isn't
us
that
home.
crazy? Like you just out enjoying yourself, having a drink, like,
Everybody's
dancing,
so
listening to music, and they're gonna come in. Police are gonna come in. Like that's wild. You know what I mean? But that's part of
so
what we live
yeah,
with.
yeah, like I could remember going to the garage and this club named the Garage on Gladstone Road, and the police came in and raided the club. Now here it is, just to show you the difference. Right up the road from Gladstone Road, the club that I used to go to back in the day. Now they have a LGBTQ bar that the polices, you go there and the polices are there. The LGBTQ polices are there at the bar. It's like a frigging bar where professional LGBTQ people go, right? Where yeah, like, so it's not the same at all.
It's
They
different. Okay. All right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and I get that because I know a lot of people who are a lot more visible in the Bahamas. Like I know things have changed there, but then a lot of times I see signs of things being so much the same. You know what I mean? Like I saw something on the news the other day. They were talking about there was some protest about we don't want gay people. I don't know what it was, but I was just like,
Oh,
damn. Like I mean, are we in 2026 or like what?
oh, I
What's going
saw that.
on?
I saw that by that lady, and that's the thing about it. I saw it by that lady, and the particular lady that I saw who was responsible, who was speaking out against against LGBTQ rights.
Yeah.
Um, he maybe 2 weeks after, because I always write the Prime Minister of the Bahamas. I always write him. He never responds to my emails, but like
Oh, you've written him.
I write him on a regular basis.
Let's
Are you kidding?
go.
Yo,
Let's go. I love
yo,
that. Let's go, Z. Come on. I love
are
that.
you kidding? I tell him 13 years. I came back to my country after 13 years, and LGBTQ people, they don't have no rights yet. Like,
Mhm.
what have you been doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
So listen, I let me open up the floor to some of my guests on the panel. I want to hear from you guys. Like, talk to me. Talk to me.
Hi, 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 hi.
Hi.
Can say the question again so I can.
What did I ask you a question? I wanted you to talk about like privilege when it comes to feminine presenting queer people and how like you can decide whether you want to disclose your queerness and like someone like me when I walk into a room like it's automatic like you know who I am, you know what I mean, like have you experienced that privilege? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm West African and I live in West Africa and I currently live in a Muslim West African country. I can answer the question by saying yes, but also saying no, simply because my particular presentation as an Afrofemme is not your typical presentation for what a
Mm,
woman in this context would look like.
okay.
So I have really long locks. I don't bleach my skin. I'm covered in tattoos. I have visible face piercings. And then I wear funky glasses. So I don't necessarily fit what womanhood looks like for this particular context,
Mm,
um, especially because my hair is natural. That's one of the biggest giveaways. Even before we talk about the tattoos and the piercings, and just the mere fact that my hair is natural, it's my own, and I don't really put anything not natural in it. Yeah, so I think that's probably the first signifier and signal to people here. That said, I do have some masculine of center friends, women, that I sometimes hang out in public with. And also, I dated a woman who is more masculine presenting than me, and we were based in this context. Now, one of the things that used to happen a lot when we went out is like the looking of adults, but then children who don't yet have a social filter narrating what the adults are thinking. So there were a few occasions where we went to the supermarket or we went to the gas station or we went for food, for a meal or dancing or something where little children would sort of bicker and snicker in the corner and they'd ask, est-ce que madame là, c'est un garçon ou une fille? And they're like, basically the question is the woman over there a woman or a man or a girl or a boy?
I knew exactly
Now,
what you said. You didn't have to translate that.
okay, they like so and for me the question was always really interesting because they look at her and they identify her as a woman, then they
Mhm.
start questioning, but is that woman a girl or a boy?
Yeah.
So that question was always like so fascinating to me. And um initially it used to irritate my partner then, and then she kind of got used to the question. And then like, so my role in that situation was to, I started engaging the children and I said, well, if you're asking if auntie is a girl or a boy, why don't you go and ask her?
Mm.
And then they would look at me with like hesitation. I'm like, she's not going to eat you. Just go and ask her the same way you stood here speaking to the air, asking the question, go and address her directly, you know? And then they have a nice little conversation. And afterwards in the car, she'll tell me a story of how, oh, the kid was this, the kid was that. That was so interesting. They think differently. And obviously, that interaction would be observed by some of the adults in the space, which would then spark ongoing conversation. I will say, though, one of the ways in which, so yes, I do experience privilege just by virtue of the fact of still being a feminine presenting woman. That said, when it is very clear to the men in the space that my femininity is not for them, then it becomes a problem. And then actually other women begin to vilify me because in a context that is so conservative as this one, in a context where everything is taboo and even though people are doing some of these things, nobody's ever going to put voice to it. Yeah. So I get vilified by the women who may want to be like me or who are like me but don't say it. And then I get like this unwanted attraction and attention from the men because it's how dare you be woman and not be available to us.
Right. Well, let me ask you,
Yeah.
do you feel safe?
For the most part, I feel safe. That comes into question when I am and like when someone tries to engage with me, like if they hit on me or if they make an offside comment which I then shut down, I then kind of become like my level of exposure goes up because like I said just now, if I turn down an offer from a man, they're looking at me like what, I don't understand, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, you are a woman, ergo you should be available to me in the way that I want. Now, so for some of the men, that's that animosity that I get from them. From others of them, they're fascinated, and others still take that as let's just try harder and let's make this very, very uncomfortable and awkward for her. And in spaces where it's mixed company, then like the women start looking at me like, no, this is not an ally for us, because clearly we are the pick in the space and we actually want to be picked, but they're not looking at us because she's forbidden fruit. So now they want her more, so it becomes kind of weird. Daggers from both men and women. But it's also really interesting the moments when I encounter another woman who is in the community but doesn't say or can't say.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the masculine presenting women flock to me because I'm like a safe place for them to express that side of themselves, knowing that it's not going to be ridiculed. And a lot of the feminine women are looking at me like, wait, but so you don't have a man as well for like cover? Like, how? This is weird. So there is no husband. I'm like, no, there's no husband. They're not scores of children. No, no, there aren't. And they can't quite compute because you should still be available to men is the way they're thinking about it. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not. So it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. And professionally, yeah, I mean, I guess because I'm good at what I do and because I don't have a problem speaking up to men or to authority, the insult I often get with my teams is, oh, well, she must be a lesbian. And I'm like, and I say to them, I mean, I never out myself, but I say to them, I think it's really hilarious that you think that's an insult. You can only insult someone with something that would hurt them.
Right.
And honestly, you saying that is like a badge of honor because I'm not available to all of these men. Yeah. So if that's what you're saying, thank you very much. But now I'm not saying that I am a lesbian, but I'm also not saying that I'm not a lesbian, but then eventually they figure it out because I am, and then,
Yeah. And so, you're selective about, what you share, obviously, for like safety purposes and like professionally as well. Yeah, thank you for sharing that experience.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, for sure. Yenla,
Hello.
hi. Hello.
Um,
Hi, friend.
Hi friend.
Hi there.
Hi. Thank you for sharing your story. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Um, I can say for me, I have got questioned because of how I dress. Because, I mean, I dress how I dress. I consider myself femme, but sometimes I want to wear a suit or,
You wear suits, friend?
I do. I wear women's suits, but I wear suits. Yes.
Love
Um,
it.
I get questioned. I don't date right now, but when I used to date, I used to get like, wow, you're beautiful, but you dress weird. You dress queer. Like one minute I see you dressed like this, and then the next you kind of want to wear a dress, and then you want to wear pants, and then I'm like, I just want to dress how I want to dress.
Yeah.
That doesn't change, who I am.
I just want to be myself,
Yeah.
Fancy that. Fancy that.
Cause I don't know, for one, I love fashion anyway, so I'm gonna put something together anyway. But
Yeah. That's an interesting point that you bring up about like, you not dating right now, right? Um, when I was still being very careful about who I was going home, when I went home a lot more often, I would take girlfriends with me, people that I was dating, partners, whatever, and still, keeping it very close to myself, like, still kind of hiding who I was while bringing these people home. And like, my family knew, they knew, like, for years, they knew, like, this is your girlfriend. You know what I mean? And so, but everybody is playing this game of we don't really see it. If we don't call it out, it's not really happening. Z, I wanted to ask you that. Like, are you dating anyone right now? Are you in a relationship? Because I feel like
Oh,
Z, I
oh,
feel like you
oh.
stay in a relationship. I feel like you always
damn.
dating.
This is the problem. This is the problem why I always not in a relationship, because people feel like I'm in a relationship and I'm not. Um I'm not in a relationship
Okay.
right now. It's quite interesting like how I like live in between Toronto and the Bahamas now. Like I wouldn't say that that has been the determinant factor, like what stopped me from having a girlfriend. Like I ain't gonna say that either, because before I didn't believe in long distance relationships, and like,
Yeah.
but I got it figured out. So I'm open to a long distance relationship as well, but I haven't had the time to. I have been a little uptight, to be quite honest. So I haven't had the time to commit to talking to anybody on a regular, getting to know them. So that whole dating thing, I've been single for a year now, actually.
Wow. A full year.
Okay.
Guys, goddamn. Kel says, "Excuse us, Erin. You can't talk. What you trying to say? What you trying to say? I'm not following you. I'm not following
I'm
you.
Aaron, I
laughing.
have a question
Oh,
for you, please.
Yes.
So my question is regarding the point about you going home with partners. Did your family let you stay with family,
Yeah.
or did?
Yeah. I stayed at my home in Eleuthera, Bahamas. I remember one time I went home with my girlfriend. I ended up marrying her. My mom and my family all loved her. Like they loved her. She was in our family for a long time. But I remember one day she just came into my room. She like busted the door open. Thankfully we weren't doing anything. But she busted the door open and she was just like she just started going off about nothing. Like just why did you park over here? Why did you? And later on I realized like she couldn't. She was trying to like process the fact that I'm laying in her house with my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like she couldn't really, and so she started like going off on me. I'm like, "Mommy, what's going on?" But yeah, I would stay. I would stay at our house with them. I realized how bold I was back then.
Yeah, that is extremely bold
Yeah.
because So my parents only have daughters, yes, and regardless of whether or not I'm the only non-heterosexual in the family, I've never seen a sibling aside from one bring home someone that wasn't their spouse. So one of my sisters brought home her partner, and they had been together probably at that point, I think for like 4 or 5 years. And my mum lost her mind when they didn't even ask. They just, told my little sister to move out of her room, and they took over her room for the week that they were there. And I mean, mum maintained her cool during the week, but then the day my dad was taking them to the train station, she like calls a family meeting and has this whole, oh, well, it would be wrong of me if I didn't say anything. And we all walked away from this thinking that this is okay and that this is normal, because you're not married and now you're sleeping in the same bed under my roof. Like, what does this say about how I raised you and the example that I gave to you? And I mean, she was speaking through a very like Judeo-Christian lens, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because the holiday before that, the same sister and her partner had been over, but apparently I was at boarding school when this happened, so I came for the next holiday. So, but my younger sister was telling me that, okay, the issue that time why my mum let them share the room is because we had a lot of extra relatives around. And so she was like trying to conserve space. So she said, oh, okay, well, I mean, they're roommates in New York anyway, so I guess they can share the room. But it was really funny because I think she didn't realize how that one act could have signaled to them like her approval of the situation. So the next holiday they just did the same thing. And then she has this whole row and tries to rope my dad into it. My dad was the pastor, not her. And my dad just looked at her and he just shrugged and he was like, "Psh, I wash my hands of this kind of thing." And there were consequences. My sister didn't speak to my mom for 6 years after that.
6 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that single experience kind of showed me that I need to choose wiser and do things differently in the event that I was going to bring home a partner.
No, but
And to this day, I haven't taken anyone home.
Before you go, Aaron, I just wanted to say, hey, everybody.
yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for coming up on the panel. I want to ask you a question in a second, Saint. But yeah, I want to say like you brought up a really good point because we talk about privilege, and I gotta say, and I haven't realized it until you said it just now. That was a privilege of mine because I was able to bring people that I was dating home. We slept in in the same bed in my parents' house, but my siblings couldn't do that. Like that, they couldn't. If you weren't married, you can't stay in my parents under their roof. There's no way that you could do that. But I was able to do that under the guise of, oh, we just friends, we just cool, like we just roommates, whatever. So yeah, that was a privilege that I never realized that I had. But happy to hear your stories and many blessings to everyone. I'm going to head out. Peace out, Kels. Thank you for coming through. Where did Saint go? Saint, I was supposed to talk to you. Saint is new to Houston, and we have to hang out. We're about to hang out soon. When I get back from the Bahamas, we have to make a date. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. But yeah, y'all pray for me as I as I get prepared to head home. It's gonna be interesting for sure. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
How long you gonna be there?
Just for a week. I'm gonna be there for a full week.
Awesome.
And I wish you were still there, man. We could have gotten together and gotten a drink,
Oh,
but
you
you
had a
just had
good
to you had to
time.
just leave.
Yeah, I had to just leave. I was supposed to be over there for a wedding, February as well, and that's the thing, right? Like I just picked up and left. Like after being there for 4 months, like I needed a break, yo.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
can
needed a
imagine.
break.
Shucks, I can imagine. But Yeah, it's gonna be a week. In some ways, it's gonna be the longest week of my life, but I think it'll be all right. Saint, you're back. You're back. You're back.
Yeah, my bad, y'all. I
No,
don't
it's
know what
cool.
happened. My
First of
butt
all,
just
welcome to
froze.
Houston again, and welcome to the show. This is your first time being up on the panel. I just want to welcome you. Thank you for coming through.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, have you experienced any of what we're talking about tonight, of having to like kind of, shrink when you go back home amongst your own people, or do you feel safe and comfortable in all those things?
I think for me, in my experience, I'm just a pipsqueak, by the way, but in my experience of like going through this life, I've always been who I am. Like I've always been me majority of my life. I would say the only time where I've had like internally to like, tone it down is with my grandmother. But I'll say this because my grandma was substantially older. My granny was born she was born in the year 1924.
Same year I was born.
Okay.
Pretty
So,
close.
you get it. You get it. You get it. So, what I'm saying? Like, me and my granny were 70 years apart. I think for me, she's the only person who I kind of toned it down for. But everybody else in my life, y'all got the blatant me. Like, I don't think anybody had the gall to tell my granny, like, like to go against her norm because she's the oldest one in our family. So outside of that, I've never like literally toned it down. I just always been who I am. And I already knew when I was young who I was going to be. I knew at a very early age.
Yeah, I knew at a very early age too, but I also learned at a very early age to hide it. Before I even knew what it was, what it meant, I learned to hide it. And I wish that
Why is
I had
that?
a different experience. Go ahead.
Why is that?
Why?
Why did you feel the need to hide it? Because I'll tell you why I'm asking you this question. Like me, if anybody like takes what I'm about to say the wrong way, I apologize in advance. But for me, I've always just been me first and everything else is after. The only thing that I can't hide about me is that I'm black, right? Like you light skinned Aaron, my bad. But like everybody else, you feel me? Like I'm just saying that I don't know how you look. I didn't know how you look when you were younger, is what I'm saying. Like for me, like I'm dark. So the only thing I cannot hide about me is the fact that I'm black. Outside of that, like when I don't have hair now, but back when I was a child, I had hair, I could blend in, I could do, like I could do whatever. So it's like I've always been me at my core, and me being black, me being gay, me being whatever, always came secondary.
But say you're also masculine presenting.
Now, but that's what I'm saying. Now, when I was younger, when I was a child, like I knew in kindergarten that I was gay. I knew. But I never felt the need that I had to hide it. It was just, I'm Saint and I just so happen to be gay. It's not like I'm gay. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just me. It's like, it's not I'm not saying anybody in here is wearing it as like a personality or as like a cloak. But nowadays it feels like that. It feels like it's a jacket or a shirt that people are wearing every day instead of just being them first. And you're just, like you're Aaron, you just so happen to be gay. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. It makes sense. So you asked me, why did I feel the need to hide? So I will say, and I'm sure there are many others in here, because we all share a very similar, some of us share a very similar experience. I grew up as a PK. I know Z can relate to this. Grew up very much in the church. My father was a preacher. Very, very much in church. I grew up in a very Christian society. And I knew, again, before I even knew the word gay, before I even heard it for the first time, I knew it wasn't cool for me to be who I was. One, not only did I like girls, I wanted to dress like, quote unquote, a boy, right? I knew this from I was 4. You know what I'm saying? I knew that. When I was 10, I wanted to start dressing like, I didn't want to dress the way my mom wanted me to dress. So I knew that it was already ingrained in me that there was something different. There was something wrong, that there was something that I needed to hide. I was different from everybody else. And I didn't grow up with any examples of this. You know what I mean? Like any examples. I feel like, again, we talk about privilege. Being in the States, it might not be accepted in your house, but you could go down the street and 5 gay people, around the corner. There was nobody that I could point to and say, this person is exactly who, like me. There was nobody. So I felt like I was the only one. I felt very alone. So it was out of safety that I felt like I had to hide and not reveal who I was for a very, very, very long time. But I hear what you're saying about I'm just who I am and everybody should just, accept it. I wish that was my experience. I grew up feeling like who I was wrong. I heard it all the time. I talked about how Z and we had to sign a contract saying that we were not going to be who we were, or we faced expulsion. If I had gotten expelled, Z, what would that have been like for you if you had gotten expelled from school because you were gay? How would I explain that to my parents?
Well, listen, that would have been terrible. Like the extent, like every time I got like on social probation, because it was steps before you got expelled. First, you had to go on social probation. You had to go on that for like 3 times, and then after going on social probation, then it was expulsion. I was seeing a counselor, uh, just
You were?
just like yeah,
I
like
didn't
I
know
was seeing a
that.
counselor in at the university that I had confided in, that actually broke trust, I think, because I'd only told her, who could have conveyed it to someone else. So hiding was something that we had to do to survive, in order to be educated,
Yeah.
uh to the extent that we needed to be educated, because it's even more, it's more difficult if you don't have if you don't have some type of education. So
Yeah.
oh yeah, we had to sign contracts.
Yeah, I appreciate your story though, saying like I completely hear what you're saying, and I respect that too, and I wish that had been my experience. You talked about your grandmother, and I want to say I feel like older people can go either way. There are older people who you're like, I'm never gonna come out to grandma. I'm never ever gonna come out to grandma. And there are older people on the other side who are like, you know what? I've lived to be 70, 80, 90 years old. And I realize that there are things that matter in this life and there are things that don't matter. I don't care, baby, if you have a girlfriend or not. My grandmother was one of those people. She told me, I remember, I'll never forget, we were in the ocean. We were wading, we were swimming together. She said to me, she's like, find wow, I'm gonna get emotional now. She told me because she knew what I wasn't saying. And she said, find someone to love you. She said, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. She said, find someone who's going to love you. And she knew, and we had this moment, like it was a brief moment of connection where she was saying what I couldn't say. And she was just like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I want you to find someone who's going to love you. I don't, and I will never forget that. And so I appreciate her so much in that moment, because I never got to tell her like, Grammy, like, I like girls. I never got to say that to her, but she knew, and she was just like, the most important thing is for you to have love in your life,
I mean, I appreciate all y'all. Like even just speaking and telling y'all a story, because like I said in the comments, like I never really looked at it that way, about having privilege, to be able to be yourself.
Yeah.
And to go back, like I love grannies, like I love grandmas to death. Like
They're so cool.
grannies are like the best people ever, because they just have the it factor to it. Like you said, your granny could hear you even when you weren't speaking.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the person that gave me that privilege and the luxury that I had to just be able to be myself growing up. But I will say too, like for me, it wasn't like my granny would shun me if I told her that I was gay. I think I just had a reverence for my granny because she was so much older. She was born in 1924. I just think like in her brain, that was just her way of the world. Men marry women, women marry men,
Yeah.
and that's just how it was for her.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she really cared. Like nothing beats your grandmother's love at the end of the day. And so, like I said, I definitely had that luxury by that same grandma. Like my grandma was a person. She was my lifelong protector. And like you said, if you have somebody that lives to be, my granny passed away at 96, so she passed away in 2020. So like even in 2020, she was just a chill girl, like she was just ready to, just to go ahead and leave whenever the moment came. But yeah, I can like I think everybody, if you've had, I guess, an American experience or a black experience, you're somehow entranced in the Christian lifestyle. So we all been there. But for me, it's just never been. I never actually cared about how anybody felt outside of my granny. Like when it comes to like my uncles, my parents, my siblings, like that's y'all. As for me, I'm gonna turn up. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like either you gonna roll with it or you're not gonna roll with it. But that's just that. But yeah, I can kind of understand.
I love hearing the love and respect that you have for your grandma. Both of mine are passed on now, and I miss them. So yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm glad that you had that relationship that you had with her.
For sure, that's my girl. I did want to originally when I came back the second time. I wanted to say something to I can't see the shorty under Z. I can't see her name all the way fully. But the person who was talking about uh the her sister and her significant other moving like coming home for the holidays. I feel this is my opinion about that. I feel it as if like if your parents were like married and like like I don't know, like tradition to me kind of matters. So as long I feel like as long as the people who are telling you stuff aren't being a hypocrite about it, then I think it kind of goes. So like say if your mom and your dad weren't together and like your mom's never been married or whatever, and it's like she's like, you can't bring nobody in my house that y'all not married and y'all sleeping in the same bed. Like that makes sense to me. Like that's her, you know what I'm saying? That's her experience. But if she hasn't, it's like the pot and the kettle to me. So I kind of can understand that. But
I see what you. I definitely see what you're saying. Zemi, you want to respond to that?
Okay. So the issue was that my mom. It was twofold. The first was that she felt guilty because she realized that she had given them permission to stay in the same room the holiday before. So apparently, when she was praying, she was convicted in her spirit that she had to call herself out for that. So that was guilt, good old Catholic guilt, calling herself out and saying, "Look, I sinned." So she brought herself to the confessional in front of her children, in front of my dad. Because I mean, I don't know if she asked my dad that first time. But I imagine whether she did or she didn't, he didn't have a problem with it because he didn't say anything. Now, this second time, so it was not just the guilt, but it was also now she then had to correct herself because myself, my younger sister, and a few other people were there. So she felt like if she didn't take a stand and make her position very clear, that there was a chance that that would happen again, either with me or with my younger sister or with another one of our sisters, right? Because my parents are married. My father is a pastor as well, and that's the standard that they have. That only married people share rooms. And it's really interesting because unlike Erin, I've never taken any partner home and I've only ever dated women. So I've never taken anyone home, but my mom has asked me when I would bring someone home. But I don't even think that the day she asked me that question, she realized what she was asking, because even at the time that she asked, she knew that I wasn't straight. So I don't know what calculation she was doing in her head, because on the one hand, she doesn't accept non-heterosexuality. But then in that moment, she was asking me knowing fully well that I am her non-heterosexual daughter. So I don't know what she was asking, but anyways, yeah. So when it comes to my sister, it was the two issues. It was ensuring that the problem didn't reproduce, and it was also her confessional because she felt guilty and she felt like she had started. So she felt she had set a precedent, and she wanted to undo it so that nobody would dare repeat that in future. So yeah.
Okay, I mean that makes sense to me, and honestly, I can still rock with mom for that because I'm one of those people. How I deal with quote unquote conflict is like the moment something bothers me, speak up. I think your mom did the right thing, and like she was with it at first, and then she kind of sat with it. Her conviction came back, but she didn't constantly sit on it. She didn't constantly let it slide. She said, "Hey, I might have made a mistake the first time, but moving forward, this is not that." And I'm kind of cool with that. Like, tell me what it is, but I can see how that could stop one set of presidents, but it could set precedents for you and your sister, you and your younger sister moving on. It's like, I can't bring nobody here, or if we come here, it's not that type of situation. So, I mean, I get it both
Well,
ways.
Saint, can I ask you, have you brought people home, and have you always felt comfortable doing that, like bring people that you're dating home?
I'll say this. My parents, they don't matter to me. Not in that sense of like, I want you to meet my parents. Like, this not that for me.
Okay.
Um, again, I'm never really impressed. I haven't been impressed for a super long time, and not in a gloating type of way. But as a kid, I've always known, how there's like a saying about how like you shouldn't. I can't think of the correct saying, but the saying is like, somebody says something to their parents, or your parents say like, "Oh, I'm not impressed with like," or "I'm not happy with what you do. Like, you're not living up." It's like, I don't care because you're not living up to my thing. It's like I'm not here to impress my parents. I'm just here to be myself, and vice versa. Like, I learned at a very young age not to take anybody else's baggage with me. I don't care what you did. It's just me and my life.
Wow.
And my granny gave me the permission, and that's what I'm saying. My granny gave me that tutelage early in my life. You are not your parents.
Not care.
Yeah, you're not your parents. Live your life, do what you got to do, but you don't take anybody else's baggage with you. You're just your own person.
That's really important to remember. Sometimes I think our parents, our grandparents, sometimes they feel like our lives is theirs to live. Like they want to control, how we. And I'm like, no, no, no. You lived your life. You're 70, you're 80, you're however old. It's my turn. I need to. But I sometimes I don't remember that for myself. Sometimes I've push my own feelings and thoughts to the side to impress them, to be cool with them. And I'm like, wait a minute, rewind. I have this one life to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Aaron and guys in here, I'll give you another little tad of little gems that my granny gave me growing up. And she told me a long time ago, like, I think I might have did something and my dad was just very disappointed. And my granny was like, this is my dad's mom, by the way. My granny was like, you don't owe anybody anything that has a head start on you.
Ooh.
Like, you don't owe anybody anything. My mom is 26 years older than me, and my dad is like 28 years older than me, or 27. My granny was like, you don't owe anybody that's older than you. They have a head start. They're doing, whatever.
Live their lives.
Yeah, it's like, so just be you. She was like, they did the hard part. The hard part was just getting you here. They're literally just the vessel. Everything else is up to you. And Anomaly, to go back to what you said in the comments, it is so freeing to me to live a life where I'm not worried about anybody at all. Like, I love my life. Like, I just don't fucking care.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's it's definitely freeing. I'm still, honestly, I'm 44. I don't know how old you are, Saint. You told me how old you were. Never mind. You're 30.
31.
31. Okay.
I'm just a
Cool.
pipsqueak guy. Sorry.
Yeah, you're a baby. You're a mere child. Just kidding. No. Like, I congratulate you for that stance. I'm 44 and I'm still unlearning a lot of things. I'm unlearning you have to shrink yourself to make somebody else feel good. You know what I mean? And I'm still working on that. Honestly, like I told you, my mom is about to turn 70. I still like I said, shrink myself around her because I want her approval. I want her to, I almost feel almost ashamed sometimes that, she has to, like for instance, at her party, right? I'm thinking about being in the room with all of her friends and how is she going to feel about me being, there as gay as I want to be and her friends seeing me. Her friends witnessing the fact that, oh, like she has been in the church all these years, you know what I mean? And she has like this super gay daughter who's not only gay, but also masculine presenting. You know what I mean? So I think about these things. I think about how she's going to feel, how people are going to, talk about her behind her back. You know what I mean? Like, should I like stay in the background so that she doesn't have to deal with that? When I should be thinking like you, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I say take it not with a grain of salt, but take it as what would mean the most to you. If you sit in the background, it's going to make you feel good or make you feel pleased, like not looking for your mom's approval, but like you to your core. If you sit in the back and you chilling and just being there in the corner, like if that's cool to you, do it. But if you're a person that when you go in the party, you're the life of the party, nigga, be the life of the party. Like, don't shrink. You know what I'm saying? Like, be you. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. On top of me.
I agree.
I think you should wear a suit too. I think you should wear a suit.
Real talk.
With a haircut.
I just do it.
You trying to pull back?
That part. Like,
yeah. So I'm not gonna wear the suit, but it's not because I'm trying to hide myself. It's because like I didn't like the suit when I got it. So I'm gonna wear something else. But whatever I wear, it's not gonna be a fucking dress like my sister's gonna have on. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely I can't hide. It's the way that I present, it's the way that I walk into a room. And I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm proud of it. But
are you though? Are you? Because you're even considering shrinking. So are you? I think, and this is not a dig at you at all, Aaron. I'm just saying to everybody in this room, Matt's, feminine, whoever, if you even consider shrinking for a person, no matter who it is, it's like you have to continuously ask yourself questions.
mm-hmm.
Like you have to ask yourself, like, all right, boom, if I'm shrinking, in your case, if I'm shrinking for my mom, what is it that I really want from her? Like deep down to the core. Is it just purely approval or is it something else?
Who's clapping?
Me.
What you clapping about?
Me. Because you know how I feel. I wish I could go with you. Not I be wanting to just sit there and be like, yo, I dare you to talk about her. Because she do her thing. They do their thing. Leave them alone. Like, literally. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, friend, for real. And I mean that. Because that's terrible.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. And to answer your question, saying like, yeah, it's a certain kind of acceptance that I've always wanted from my mom that I've never gotten. Just because of who I am, because she can't put me on Facebook and be like, yeah, celebrating, my daughter's anniversary. She could have done that when I was married, but she chose not to, right? But she does it for my siblings.
I think you have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Is this somebody who loves you wholeheartedly? If they're hiding you because you're gay, hypothetically, you black, whatever. Not saying because you're black, but in it, whatever it is, it could be because you're gay, you're tall, you whatever, right?
I am black, saying.
I know.
I'm light skinned.
Yeah.
I'm
aware. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not that light skinned.
It gets to a point, especially like for me, we were at that point real early in my life. Yeah. It gets to a point. Like, all right, if appeasing you makes me feel bad, it's enough. I'm done. It's cut. Right? I'm not taking, this is my we have a saying in my family with my dad. It's like, everybody's making their YouTube channels back in the day. We had this saying in our family where this is my fucking YouTube. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. Like, this is my YouTube. This is my show. This is my life. This is my shit. If me appeasing you, whoever you is gonna make me feel any other feeling than good and real and authentic and sincere, fuck you. Respectfully or disrespectfully.
Respectfully and disrespectfully, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go to that party and I'm not gonna shrink myself. I'm gonna be who I am. I like I told you, I was worried about those people who are gonna be like, what's up? But it's okay. It's okay.
You should go ahead and wear that Great Gatsby outfit and just
Oh.
show out and call it a day. That's what
You like that one, Iyanla? You like that
Yes,
one?
there you go. And just be the life of the party. I'm dead ass.
Yeah, and I will be. I'm gonna dance. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. They're gonna be looking at me, but it's all good. It's all good.
I mean, definitely enjoy your mom. Like, it's her birthday. Go home, enjoy being back home, enjoy your mom, celebrate her turning 70 or however old she's turning. Enjoy yourself, because not a lot of people parents make to 70. Not a lot of people parents like you have a decent relationship with your mom. Like, go celebrate that. But all of this hiding who you are to appease somebody, your mom probably doing the same shit. It's like, yo, I think that's the cycle. I just thought about it right then and there. You're going through the shit trying to appease your mom, trying to please your mom. Your mom's going through the shit trying to please the family or the church members. It's like the never-ending cycle. Be the cycle stopper, or people say generational curses, but they could be.
Yeah, and that's a great point. A lot of all my siblings looked at me like, oh, you just a rebel. You know what I'm saying? You do what you want to do, when they didn't realize like if I really want to do what I want to do, like I would really be doing a lot more. But I gotta be who I am at the end of the day. I have to live my life at the end of the day. And like you said, like, fuck who has something to say about it. Like, I really don't have time. These people, at the end of the day, I'm not even talking about my immediate family. I'm talking about like these people who from church or the extended family. They have nothing to do with my day-to-day life. Like, I could care less about them. And so sometimes I sit down and I wonder, like, why do I care what they think?
Did you come up with an answer?
The answer that I always come up with is I don't want it to reflect poorly on my mom. I don't want her to have to feel like she's in a position where she has to defend me or,
That's her job. That's literally her job. She's your mother. She's your mother.
She is.
If nobody else comes to your defense, like, who else is supposed to do it? Literally.
Yeah.
That's literally her job. And I'll say this, if you ever want to think about another direction, has your mom ever did some shit ever? Like, if you really sat down, like the day you die, you go to the day of judgment, you sit down and think about your mom. Has she ever done some shit where you was like, yeah, I might gotta defend this later on in life? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing.
Right. I don't know.
Because let me tell you, I defend my child. I don't care what he do. That's what the fuck you want to do. That's it. That's
100. 100.
That's
it. Yeah, I thank y'all. Thank y'all for the encouragement, for standing by me. I'm gonna call y'all too. I'm gonna be like, listen, I'm at the party. People are looking at me weird. What should I say?
And I'm gonna be like, put me on FaceTime. Let me get a face.
Yeah.
Cut them out.
100.
You're not gonna do that to my friend.
Yes. So I'm gonna switch gears for a second.
Hold on, wait. Don't call me, because I'm gonna tell you do a backflip. Turn it up.
Not a backflip. Yeah. I want to ask you. So I want to talk about your project that you have coming out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't talk about your music. So I just want, before we get out of here, I want to talk about your project coming out. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Blue Fire,
yes. So the name of the project, it was inspired by the fact that I let somebody keep my electric guitar. It was a blue guitar, and they never wanted to give it back. So they never gave it back to me. So I named my entire project based on my electric guitar, Blue Fire, and I launched it already. I already have it in
Oh,
like
it's already out.
Spotify. Yeah, well, I have an official launch date, but I have an official launch date, but I unofficially launched it on December 8th. It's called Blue Fire by Z. You could check it out. I produced everything on my own. I wrote, I recorded,
Talent.
I mixed it, and I mastered it. And then I put it out there. And I just didn't want to be one of those people that just kept on being hesitant on my projects as a songwriter. As a singer songwriter, I didn't want to be a person that just kept on putting things off. Oh, I can do this. Maybe I will start this and that. So I put it out there, and I feel happy about it. I feel happy about the fact that I was able to put out my first debut album. And yeah, it's called Blue Fire. Check it out. Check it out on Spotify. Check it out on iMusic. Check it out on Boom Play, or wherever you listen to your music. It sure would be cool. Download a song, whatever song you like, and share it. And yeah, that's a little bit about my project.
Tell me something. How does like who you are come out in your music? Do you ever talk about like, do you have any songs, any tracks about like your experience transitioning, anything like that?
Oh, well, thank you so much for asking that question. I always, when I wrote these songs for this project, I was going through something specific and nothing that I was going through had to deal directly with my transition,
Hmm.
and so I didn't write specifically about any of like the experiences of transitioning. I wrote from the experience of being of black people coming together after disagreements, of relationship when you don't move quick enough and the other person moves on, like just a different love experiences that we go through, and how do we navigate it after it impacts us either negatively or positively. So that's basically what the entire debut album is about. Yeah.
That's really dope. Congratulations on that. And I want to tell you guys, like, thank you all for being here, number one, but also, follow me, follow the show. I have a lot of exciting things that are coming up for 2026. Follow Z. Check out his music. And yeah, as always, I appreciate y'all support so much as we close out. And I just want to say, like, if nobody told you guys today, like, your story matters, being who you are matters. I'm preaching to the choir when I say this. Yeah, never shrink for anyone.
To piggyback off of you real quick, firstly, congratulations on the move. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Glad you in
Thank you so
there
much.
safely and soundly.
Thank
And
you.
then secondly, to piggyback off you said, I'll leave you out with another grandma gem. It's very important that you tell your story, but you never become a show. That's what my granny always told me. Tell your story, never become the show.
What do you think she meant by that? Tell your story, but don't become the show.
It is your duty as a person having a human experience to tell your story. But it's also very important for you never to become a caricature. You're not a show. You're not a character. You're a real person.
What was your grandmother's name? If you don't mind sharing that.
I can't tell y'all. all
You
that.
don't want to share it with us? Okay.
I'll tell you personally, but I can't.
She sounds
tell
like
y'all.
she was pretty phenomenal. So yeah, I think I would have liked her.
She was dope. I hate she got out of here. She got out of here too soon. She owed me 4 more years.
You know, hey, that's another thing that we all have to remember. Something I remind myself: this life is very short. Even if you live to be 70, that's not a long time. It feels long to us. It feels old to us because wherever we are in our age right now. But it's really not a long time. And so you gotta live your life. You gotta live it for yourself, for sure. 100.
Y'all remember, you always got choice. Give yourself grace. Give everybody else grace because we all need it out here real bad. Go find you some freaking joy. All right.
Yeah, Anomaly said, shout out to Grandma Saint.
Shout out to grandmas.
Shout out to her. Shout out to all of you, man. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for coming through for another episode of Unbuttoned. I will be in the Bahamas next week, Monday, so I probably won't be on here. But whenever we get back together, it's gonna be another great conversation. And I love y'all. Thank y'all.
Aaron, you can hit me up privately, and I got you.
For sure, for sure. We gonna meet up too. When I get back from the Bahamas, I want to meet up and have a drink. Okay.
All right, y'all.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all. Thank you so much, Steve, for being on, and I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Always. All right. Take care, y'all.
All righty.
Bye.
Good night. Bye bye.